never talk about your past.
I don't remember much. Just fragments.
There was an attack.
You were dying.
We saved you. And now you save others.
Everything they told you was a lie.
You had a family.
What do you want from me?
They did not save your life. They stole it.
"22 years later, and we're finally getting our very first live adaptation of Ghost in the Shell starring Scarlett Johansson. What do I think of it? Let's find out. If you watched the first video of Evoldog's Corner, you know how much I adore the original Ghost in the Shell. But before I go any further, this video is going to contain a lot of spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, it's time to bounce. Hey, it's in the title, people. You can't miss it. So let's begin. Now, I had to watch this movie twice because the first time I saw it, I fell asleep halfway through the movie. And I know I'm not starting out with a high opinion of this movie, but to be blunt with you guys, I thought it was a little mediocre. I was hoping it wouldn't turn out to be RoboCop light, but apparently that's how it turned out. It's pretty much RoboCop with the Ghost in the Shell brand stamped to it. Now, I love the original RoboCop. I just don't want it in my Ghost in the Shell. Now, I know some of you are probably asking, how is this even remotely related to RoboCop? Well, obviously, it's a story about a cyborg cop created to a point against their will, and then they end up throughout the movie trying to find their true identity. To me, this isn't Ghost in the Shell, right? Ghost in the Shell is more about transcendence. It's a story about the evolution of intelligence or how a rogue AI becomes sentient. Now, none of that existed in this movie. It sounds like I'm hating on this movie, but I assure you I'm not, because I wouldn't be spending all this energy and effort hating on something. This channel is about loving stuff, not hating stuff. So with that said, as I was watching the movie, I was waiting to see if they were going to address her name, because Scarlett Johansson was listed as playing the Major in IMDb. So I was curious to see if they were going to actually give her a name besides the Major in the movie, and if they did, what it would be. So to my horrors, when she finally utters her name, Major Mary Killian, I almost blew a fucking head gasket, because what the fuck is that, right? Major Motoko Kusanagi has always been the iconic personality of the whole Ghost in the Shell mythology. And so to give her a whole new name and identity, I thought was just fucking wrong. But I will be getting into that later. Right now, let me talk about some of the stuff that I did like, and because it wasn't all bland. I thought the world building was pretty cool. I mean, visually, they pretty much captured the essence. They captured the look of the original movie. I thought the actor playing Bateau, visually and tonally, he captured the look of that character. I thought, okay, I was at first disappointed that he didn't have his bionic eyes, but eventually we find out how he gets these bionic eyes. Togusa, I thought was fine. Hey, an Asian male playing an Asian character with his mullet and trusty revolver, I was down with that. Pete Takashi as Aramake, picture perfect. I thought that was spot on. I'm glad they had him speak in his native tongue, because he just sounds much more commanding and confident in Japanese rather than with his broken English. Now, Scarlett Johansson as the Major, I thought was serviceable. She's pretty much playing a brooding Black Widow, and the skin-tight suit sometimes looked a little awkward. Sometimes it made her look like a linebacker, but hey, they're not gonna have a naked ScarJo running around in a PG-13 movie. So aside from all that, you know, the first half of the movie was a little lackluster, but something miraculously happens near the beginning of the third act of the movie. Now, when this particular scene happened, I mean, it just jolted my system to the core. It woke me up like a shot of narrative caffeine, right? So if you've seen the movie, you will probably know what I'm talking about. There's a scene near the third act where the Major, she goes and visit this old Asian lady. And right away, I immediately understood where the film was going, and it just reignited my fascination with the movie. right? I knew right away that they were going to reveal that this is in fact our major Motoko Kusanagi and not some terrible westernized knockoff. So once it dawned on me that this is not an interpretive or a literal interpretation of the original movie, although they do use a lot of visual cues from it, this is more of a retelling or an origin tale of our main character, Motoko Kusanagi. So once I accepted that fact, I just began enjoying the movie a lot more. Now, a lot of hardcore Ghost in the Shell enthusiasts might feel a little offended, since this could come off a lot like pandering, because there is an ongoing debate whether the major is Asian or Caucasian. And with this reveal, the filmmakers are kind of indirectly conceding the fact that she is an Asian character, right? And it almost seems like they want to have their cake and eat it too, because they know she's an Asian character, but yet since they hired a white actress to portray her, they somehow have to justify this dramatic shift without having to change the character entirely, hence this whitewashing controversy. Now, I don't have a problem with this. I think the filmmakers handled this situation pretty delicately. I think this duality could make the major a lot more complex and interesting, and they could also put this whole whether she's white or Asian controversy to rest, because now she's both. So what do I finally think about this movie? I think it's actually pretty good. I mean, that third act really saved its ass from being a mediocre pile of crap, right? And so I hope it's a commercial success, so it will warrant a proper sequel. And I think if it does get a sequel, that will be the true Ghost in the Shell movie we've been waiting for. So yeah, my score, I was going to initially give it a 6 out of 10, but with the amazing third act, I'm gonna raise it to an 8 out of 10, a 4 out of 5, 80 out of 100, whatever that is, people. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this review, and until the next video, time to bounce.